the option menu, and we're looking at the options and setting them correctly so you know what's what, and I'll explain them all for you. So we have our show unit status bars, which is pretty much your health on your units. This is really important for micro, so you know which ones are like hurt, which ones to pull away. When you're engaging in battles, you know who to, you know which units to target fire. Next is the show flyer helper. Right, you might not know what this is. When you're ever looking at a flying unit, you'll see like this long little pole come down to the ground, and there'll be a circle. Where that circle is where the placement on the map. That's where their placement is, and that's important for, say, if you want to storm them, for example. You storm that center on the map because that's where they are. Same for EMP and fungal growth. There we are. Alright, so smart camera pan, that just helps with your camera. You don't really want that. Display building grid. This is actually pretty useful because this is how you get Zerglin tight wall offs and stuff like that. Does the stream stop working? Oh, it did. I see what's wrong.
Yeah, just focus up a little bit. We'll get this eventually.
Yeah.
I know the third episode. Don't worry, guys. We're just getting through all the technical stuff at the moment. Try and remember to do everything.
Yeah, this is the joys of having a broken computer, innit?
You all good to go?
Nearly.
Just click on the part of that overlay and press 1, widen out all the way. Yeah, we'll explain exactly what happened. It was Hugh's computer broke pretty much just before we started doing these shows, and he's currently borrowing a friend's computer to do it all, which is very kind of his friend, so that's how we're operating this.
I know, and I got to come down here and catch a bus. It's kind of weird when you're using someone else's computer, because you know your own computer so well, and then when you use someone else's, it's just like, what do I do? Alright, so there's Starcraft in XSplit. Okay, there we are, yeah. Okay, so we're back in this. Is the stream up and running, yeah? Okay,
yeah, I can see.
Yeah, okay.
Just start all this right from the beginning, we'll go from the top.
What, from the entire episode?
Just start from when you're into Starcraft.
Okay, sick.
You're done.
Alright, okay everyone, so we're back into Starcraft and everything is set up. So as I was saying, we're going to go over the correct way to look at your menu and set up your in-game settings so you can be most efficient. The most important one is always the health bars, and it's this one right here. You always want this on always, and what this will do is it'll show you all the health bars on every single unit, and especially like your own production structures. It'll give you the like the production time and all that, which is really awesome. But more importantly, when you're fighting in battles, you micro in your units, etc, etc, when you see the health, you know which ones to pull away because obviously they're hurt and their health will be in the red, and then you know which units to target with your opponent because they'll be in the red. And things like that are very, very important, especially in your micro, because if you have like 5 stalkers v 5 stalkers and you target down the hurt stalkers and bring your hurt one back so it doesn't die immediately, you have a much bigger advantage in the battle. The next one then is going to be your show flyer health. This will show you on the map where a flying unit is located. So when you storm, EMP, fungal growth, anything like that, you go for that part of the map because that will damage the unit. Like if you actually were to like storm or EMP where the unit actually looks like it is, you actually miss it and not do any damage. So the next one is smart camera pan. You don't need that. That just helps with your camera view. It's not really useful at all. The display building grid is another one. This will like put botches on the map so you can see if everything's wall tight, which is really important against Zerg, because you want a Zerglin tight wall in, because if Zerglins can get in, then it's not a very good wall. Next is you save all replays. This is personal choice. This is something that if you want to look on improving your StarCraft 2, you really want to do this, because you can put them into StarCraft 2 Gears, which is a program that will analyze all your replays and give you your statistics based on matchups per map and stuff like that. Display replay time info, that's pretty obvious. Next is your menu bar mode. This is like the achievements, the menu, the message, like the help. these things up there. You want these unclickable or hidden, because if you click on one of these when you're playing, it's going to come up with a big screen, and like you're not going to be able to control your units immediately. So you know, that could lose you a fight, and then that could lose you the game. Next is the control groups. So that's the same as the menu, but it's for the control groups that go just above your HUD. So it's like, you know, the 1 to 0 buttons. Once again, you can accidentally click on them when you're in the middle of a game or in a fight, and it'll cause you to miss micro, and it could cost you the game. Next is show alerts. This one is for the little alerts that come up on the left hand side. You can accidentally click them. It's not as bad as like a menu, because it won't pop up with anything, it'll just take you to that action. So, you know, if you micro and you click on that, say it was a Nexus finishing, it'll take you to that Nexus. Next is your show game timer. That's this number here. This pretty useful because it'll help you to counter your timings and stuff like that. So, you know, like a 4 gates hits at 6 minutes. If you see it hit 6 minutes on there and you're playing against a Protoss, you know that a 4 gate could be coming at you at that moment. Next is the world object tools. This is important. This is like, it'll give you a little helpful information on the map, like cliffs and some Naga towers, which you don't really need. That's quite basic. Display game tooltips. That's pretty important because I'll give you, I can't show you at the moment. It will actually, just above by here, it'll give you like the production time on stuff, how much it costs, it's stuff like that. So all good. Next is your display subtitles. You don't need that. Display command hotkey text. That's actually in this box by here. When you build and stuff, it'll have like, if your stalker is S to build a stalker, it'll say S on the stalker. It's just to help with your hotkeys. So next, we're gonna go into the actual game now and play with some units and their unit control. So let's build some Marines and some stalkers. Okay. What the hell? Oh, this yellows. Okay, let's go. Alright, so most importantly is clicking and selecting units and building hot control groups. So most people know you left click the box units and then right click to move them. And then if you want to select all of a unit, you can either double click or you control click, which is control click I always find easier because my hand's always on control anyway. So if you control click and click on a unit, it will add them to the selection. Selection is like these are your highlighted units, so you can press control 1 and they can press up to there. Now let's add a bunch of different units. So if you want to add a lot of units, you see I have these 3 Marines. I want to add all these stalkers. I press Shift and Control. Shift will keep my highlighted units here, and whatever I click on, if it's Control, it will add them. If they're already in there, it will take them out. So if I press Shift, then Control and left click on the stalkers, I can add them to the highlight, and then I can press Control 1 and put them in control group 1. So if I do the same here, this is control group 2, so there's 2, there's 1, and then you can double tap them to switch them really fast. If you want to take this is what a lot of people don't know, if you want to take a unit out, if you just press Shift and click on that or the unit itself, it will take the units out. So now in this group I just have 1. If you want to take them all out, you can actually So yeah, if you have more than one group selected, one type of unit selected, and you want to get rid of them, if you press Control Shift and click on which one you don't want, it removes all that unit. So once again, we have them all. If I Shift, I can remove one. If I don't want them all, okay, I added them. There we are. Okay, so that's the main ones. Also, another important another important control key is, of course, the Shift, which is obviously your Q commands. It's very important, your Q commands, because this is good for Terrans, especially because as soon as you build like your bunker or your depot at the beginning of the game, you can rally or Shift Q your unit, your harvester back to the mineral line. Okay, what's the time now? Okay. just so I can keep an eye on the time. Okay, so there's that. Next, we're going to have a quick look at buildings and how hockey works. You can shift queue buildings, which is really important, especially in ladder games. Sometimes, see now you're Terran, mainly a Terran's the one to queue their units, because the macro mechanics of the Zerg and the Protoss are a bit different. So, see now you're on Tal'Darim or whatever, no, not Tal'Darim, sorry, on Shattered Temple or Metalopolis. You know how, like, on the edge of the maps, they have, of their bases, they have the high cliff, and most of the time you're going to walk past the cliff and take a lot of damage. You always want to try and rally your unit, say, to the floor, and then to a unit, because if you produce a unit,
research,
like this Marine is going to go to that point and then to here. So this is how you dodge areas of damage. And then also if that unit dies when he is, say, on his way there, that unit dies, he'll just stop there. So you don't suicide as many units if you're doing a rally point. Okay, so we've done most of the controls. Place the buildings. Okay. So yeah, also another important thing with units, with buildings, you can select a bunch of the same unit buildings and you probe. So yeah, if you press Control and select whatever building you want, you can highlight them all and then hotkey them. Another good thing for the Protoss is if this is a bit it's not really that beneficial, but it's something funky you can do. If you hotkey like all your pylons, if you press whatever pylon button you have highlighted, it'll take you to your closest pylon. So that's always useful in a battle, so you don't have to mess about trying to find your pylons, just double tap, it'll go straight to them. Okay, that's mainly all I wanted to do in terms of like implying, showing people the units controls. Because this is featured on Twitch, we're actually going to be doing a lot of questions from the people watching, and I'm mainly going to be going over like micro situations and stuff like that. So if people have things they don't know how to micro correctly, or they don't know what army composition counters, what army composition in any race or anything like that, if you ask your questions now, I'm going to try and demonstrate those type of battles and how you would micro in them and what's the efficient way to micro.
Have I seen anything in the chat, Rob?
I'm waiting for them to come up.
Don't worry, you don't have to check chat, we can handle that.
Yeah. Alright. So you're a Terran, right, Banks?
Yeah.
Alright.
Low skill Terran, if you saw I was playing with Bling on Friday. Okay, we've got one thing here from Ascendant, which is, I find it hard to micro Zealots versus Zerglings or Marines.
How would you do that?
Or as Zerg, how do you manage having multiple queens to time the V on the two hatcheries?
Okay, he's on about the inject lava. Okay, here's what most Zergs will do. They will have all their queens on something like number 5. Alright, there's one queen, there's still a couple queens and some drones. I'll show this version because hatches build immediately. Alright. So you know you have all your queens just chilling around. The best way to do it is your backspace key. It's backspace by standard, which is it's pretty much your main cycle building. It's backspace by standard, but I have mine disabled to middle mouse wheel. And whenever you press this, it will take you to your main building. So if you're a Protoss, it'll take you to all your nexuses, so you can just scroll through them really fast. Alright, so let's get some queens. I'm not a Zerg, so I don't know how to do this super efficiently, but you shift, and then boom, it goes like that pretty much. Obviously, it's not taking me to all my hatches because I have nexuses and clan centers, but you shift, you shift, backspace and left click while doing it. But if you bind your backspace to something like your middle mouse wheel, you don't have to take